Hello, Sherry Picker.
Hi, Jeff Wild. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Sherry Picker is an MSW working for Paradise Home Health Care, serving seniors in Broward County and Palm Beach County, Florida. And Sherry, I have a question for you today.
Oh, good. Let's hope I have an answer.
You always do.
I'll make something up.
This is a question that a lot of people have, and I'd like to know, for myself as well, but most people, well, let me get to it. What are the signs that I can look for to know whether my father or mother needs some help?
That is an excellent question, Jeff, because usually the parents will either be in a bit of denial or not notice differences and changes. I don't have to make anything up. I know there are definite signs to look for. Whether you see your parents regularly or if you're out of state and only see them maybe once, twice a year, when you speak to them, if you just sense that something's off, that they're not following the conversation, that they're not hearing it, or they're just something's off. Maybe it's cognitive, maybe it's hearing. Try to go away from the weekly script. Parents are hip to the script, that the conversation's natural rhythm. Ask something else that you don't usually discuss, or bring something up about yourself or the family, things like that. If you do see your parents, or when you're down visiting South Florida, if you notice a lot of mail piling up, unopened bills, second notices, final notices, that means they're not keeping up with either the electric bill, the condo bill, credit cards, things like that. That's a sure giveaway that things are changing. Other things, if there's a change in their appearance, if there's stains on their clothes, if their clothes don't match, especially if they were always meticulous about their appearance. If their hair doesn't look like it's been washed in a few days, just their overall physical appearance. If it's not the way they usually appear or take care of themselves, that's another tip that something's off. If the apartment's a little disheveled, if they usually keep things in order and now it's not, or their newspaper's not being thrown out, if things are dirty, if the stove's not clean, if there's out of date things in the refrigerator, past due date, they're just not keeping up. Those are signs of cognitive problems and maybe some physical problems. Take a look at the car. If there's extra dings or scrapes or fender benders and dents, they're banging into things. So those are some of the quick tips, but a lot of it's maintaining conversation and their physical appearance.
Very good.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah. It was just in my case, it would be easy to tell my family is neurotically clean. So if there's anything anywhere, I would be able to know it. But
right.
I wanted to ask you, in the event of the eventuality of elderly parents needing help, how do we get in touch with you and your company?
Well, thank you. That's a good question, too. You can find us practically everywhere. We're online at www.paradisehomehealthcare.com. You can reach us 24/7 any day of the year at 561-672-7170. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Google+. We're in many rehab centers, we're in many Jewish centers, senior centers, but basically you can find us online or give us a call. If it's after hours or on weekend, the calls will not go to an answering service. They'll go directly to Linda Lamont, who's the founder and owner of the company.
That's amazing. And that's wonderful.
Yeah, we don't. People usually call in a crisis or feeling very rushed or strained, so we try to be available you know, as soon as the phone rings. Another thing just to look for, if there's just a change in their behavior, if they used to be very outgoing, if they stop meeting friends, if they stop going out to eat or playing golf or mahjong, something's up. There's a physical change, a cognitive change. They might be scared of falling. And then you have to ask some questions. But, you know, it's usually a family member or a friend that would you know, notice first. Certainly if you get a call from their doctor or banker or lawyer or close friend or their card playing partner, take heed to it. These people aren't going to call you just to get your attention over nothing. There's something prompting it. So
what would be the process if and when we need the services of Paradise? What would be the process?
Okay, so if you get off the phone or you're visiting your parents and you just sense something's wrong, you probably want to bring in a professional to do a professional assessment. If you're sensing something's wrong, there probably is, and the assessment will most likely validate your suspicions. So as a social worker with Paradise Home Healthcare, I would go in and do an assessment with the parent or the loved one. And from there, we would, you know, I would say my thoughts and recommendations. Usually a little bit of help will go a long way. If there's a big change in their cognition, 1 week they're cognitively present and your mom and dad, and a week later they're like just talking about things tangentially, it's very likely just a urinary tract infection, a UTI, which will be treated with like Cipro or some antibiotic and clear up. But in seniors and elderly population, an infection goes right to the cognition, and there's a dramatic change. So you don't have to think, oh my God, they had Alzheimer's since last week. That's not usually the case. It could be they fell, it could be a brain injury, but you know, just ask things, see who they've been seeing, speak to those people. But once there's an assessment and something shows up that, yeah, they should definitely see their doctor or a specialist, check things out medically, then you might want to introduce a caregiver or an assistant a couple of times a week. Maybe they shouldn't be driving, maybe the physicality of keeping a house running, of cleaning, of laundry, changing the sheets on the bed is a big deal to somebody in their 80s and 90s. It becomes cumbersome. Shopping, yeah. Well, there you go. So you can multiply that to a higher power. Just shop, grocery shopping, carrying the bags, if they waiting for the elevator, if there's stairs. All these things add up. So even though your parent is probably doing great and they can do every single thing, when they have to do it all every day, then it becomes a task. But a really big thing to look for is if they're missing doctor appointments, if they're missing other appointments, and if mail is piling up and bills are unpaid.
I'm going to stop the broadcast now, but I want to talk to you again. I know that we were both pressed for time to keep this short, but I want to talk to you again. You have more knowledge in this area than anyone I know, and I once again thank you.
My pleasure. Comes from experience. So have
Be
yourself
well.
a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.